Hello, my name is Christian Ramirez and welcome back to my channel Transcendence. On this episode, we're going to go over channelers. I actually have two channelers in this episode and we're going to cover what they are. So a channeler is someone sort of like a medium where they can communicate with something external to themselves and allow that external being, entity to talk through them. In this particular case, we have Daryl Enka, who's channeling an entity called Bashar. I know how that sounds, but he's channeling an entity called Bashar, who is a ET, extraterrestrial, from his perspective future, reaching back out through him. And the reason I'm doing this is because they're actually saying a lot of the same things that near-death experiencers tend to share after having gone through such an experience. Because something unique is going on here where people are waking up and they're sharing a lot of information from all different sources. Near-death experiencers especially, people are becoming more aware. And the next channeler is actually going to be Wendy Kennedy, and she's channeling beings from the ninth dimensional Pleiadian collective. Again, I know how this all sounds, but listen to it for yourself so you can see the similarities and you can see what's actually coming through. They talk about topics like reincarnation, time, space, and I also put in a snippet from Jeff Tolley and his near-death experience so you can actually compare what he's saying to what Bashar is saying in one particular instance. So they're actually deciding to share information more now than ever to bring more awareness, to wake more people up, and to also teach us for the ones that are ready. And a lot of their information actually resonates with a lot of people, and it actually resonates with me because of the research I've done in near-death experiences and other metaphysical topics. So having that understanding and then listening to them makes a lot more sense than someone just listening to them for the first time. So if you have no idea of anything of those concepts or anything like that, it doesn't always make a lot of sense. But if you actually watch some of my previous videos, like the near-death experience video, the near-death experience compilation, I highly recommend you watch that one. You'll start to see that they're starting to share a lot of similar information. And another thing about Bashar is that Bashar, the name that he uses, Bashar, isn't actually his name. They don't, the Essassani don't actually use names the way we understand them. Everyone is more in unity consciousness. Everyone's one with each other and they don't actually use names. He uses that for the sake of us, for understanding. It's easier for us to understand with a name. And Bashar actually means messenger in Arabic. Okay, and I hope you guys enjoy.
The idea that you will suddenly float out of your body. You may recognize that your body is lying down there. You may see people gathered around. You may choose to listen into a few things. You may choose to go to your own funeral. You may choose to visit some people. You may choose to attempt to communicate with them. Sometimes they will perceive it, sometimes they will not. You may experience what is called the tunnel of light, which is actually just a way of expressing in your reality the idea of a link and a bridge between one dimension and another. And as you open up into the other dimension of spiritual reality, non-physical reality, most of you may experience being greeted by the non-physical spirit counterparts of people that you have known in life, or the idea of what you call people from other lives. You may thus then experience the sensation of unconditional support and love, expansiveness. It will be like waking up from a dream, in the way that you wake up from a dream now and go, oh, well, no matter how real that dream seemed, this is actually who I am, and that was just a dream. So death will be similar to that as well. This is who I really am, and physical life was just a dream. You will have what is generally called a life review. You will experience every single choice you made, every consequence of every choice you made, and you will actually feel it and everything that anyone else felt as a consequence of the choices you made, as if it's all happening to you, because it is all happening to you. This will happen really in the blink of an eye, even though it may seem to be somewhat stretched out, because it's an entire lifespan in the blink of a moment, but you can focus on any part of it that you wish, and you can make it seem to last however long you wish it to last. And the idea is that you will use this as a learning experience to balance yourself in recognizing the choices that you made and whether or not you really would have preferred to make a different choice or not. And you will add that perspective to your overall knowledge as a soul.
Now, when I'm now out of my body and looking down at my physical body, it's just like, holy shit, I'm dead. and then at the same time, oh my God, I'm alive. So it was really surreal in how I felt. It was very obvious that the death state that we go into is actually the living state. So like it's opposite. We think that being here, we're alive or not. This is the dead state, and there's the living state. It's like waking up from a dream. It kind of felt like that. Even though this life had some effect, and we know it means something to us and to others, it means as much as when we wake up from a dream, we kind of shake it off and move on. It doesn't. We know it mattered. We know the experience was real, but it ultimately, at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. Very interesting stuff. There was also this interesting idea around time and space. So when I was in the physical body, we're in this weird time thing going on where everything's kind of slow, where out there is no time or space. Everything's happening at one time. All things are in one moment all the time, and then anything is as quick as you need it to be for what you need to do. It's really hard to explain. So going back to that, it took me over 10 years to actually articulate all this.
You, from the third dimensional level, only are perceiving one version of reality, but there are multiple and infinite versions of reality going on concurrently. And this is the beauty of 3D, that you get to limit it down to one, and you don't see what's coming, so it also affects your choice in frequency. So every now moment that you experience is based upon an agreed upon set of circumstances that you collectively agree to. All right, these are the things that have gone on a planet. We've had World War I, we've had World War II, this has gone on, that has gone on. And then you have your own personal history that you say, this is my past, this is where I grew up, this is the kind of relationship I had with my mother, my father, my siblings. And what you do is move from now moment to now moment to now moment. So you move from agreed upon set of circumstances, and then you string them all together and give yourself the illusion of time. And you do this, and we didn't talk about it earlier, but we feel like we need to bring it up now because these are key concepts in understanding and bringing yourself out of the victim mentality. And whenever we talk about a lot of the quote-unquote control mechanisms that are going on the planet, when you understand this structure that's underneath it, you can move out of that victim consciousness. Right. So one of the beautiful things of 3D was the illusion of linear time, and part of the reason time exists is because, as we said at the beginning, as you enter into density and you create these programs of the mind to keep you in the third dimension, these ideas and perceptions of limitation, if you didn't experience immediate manifestation, you were able to keep yourself in the game longer. If you did immediately manifest, you'd have a lower thought, you'd create it as a reflection, and you would most likely create a death scenario. Out you go, and you have to start again.
Hello, Bashar.
And good seeing you.
Thank you. My question is, how does time relate to frequency?
The idea of time is this. Time is a side effect. Space and time are side effects of what we talked about a few moments ago. Your consciousness shifts through motionless, timeless, static, parallel reality frames, billions of times per second. That shifting of your consciousness through those frames you call parallel realities creates the experience you call space-time. Okay. The tick of the clock, if you're looking for a frequency, is what you call the Planck length. The time it takes, what you call the speed of light, to cross the Planck length is the tick of the clock, is the frequency of time.
Okay.
Does that help you?
Yes. So basically you're saying, as we raise our frequency, we see more information from each picture, right? In section?
Yes, because it's holographic.
Now, when we do that, how do we create less time for ourselves, though?
By living more in the now, where less time is created and less time is experienced.
Okay.
The more you live in the holographic now, the more you understand that everything, every when and everywhere is already just here and now. And thus then the more you perceive that, the more you experience that, the less you have to create the experience of time, because you're not creating as many details. You're looking at things more holistically, more all at once, which requires less of an experience of time in which to experience it. And so when you segregate things out, compartmentalize them, and create many details, when you compartmentalize in that sense, thus you need to create the experience of more time in order to fit all those details in. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
So living in the here and now collapses the need for the experience of as much time. And when you do something that you love to do, when you're focused in that way and you say, well, I didn't even notice the passage of time. I've been doing this now for 3 hours, but it only felt like half an hour to me. You actually only aged half an hour. You understand?
Yes.
Thus, then, what you're simply doing is you're reconnecting with the consensus reality's sense of time flow by, in a sense, jumping over the time to 3 hours later to reconnect with them and catch up and harmonize with them, but you only aged half an hour when everyone else aged 3. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sir, so formal.
On a personal note,
Yes.
you can sense my signature frequency.
Yes.
What does it look like?
It is a pattern. It is a, shall we say, something similar to the idea of ripples in a pond stretching out holographically in a multitude of directions and different colors.
Okay. Any colors in particular, or?
Well, there are many colors, but there are also colors that you have no names for.
Okay, I see.
All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Reincarnation, and why does that work that way?
Well, in part, the question is flawed.
Okay. All right.
And here's why. Because you're asking the question from a third dimensional standpoint, in which you are looking at time as a constant, where there is a linear progression, and it's not. Time is an illusion, and it's simply a marker for events. So when you all think of reincarnation, you think, all right, well, I have a lifetime that started in 1000 BC, and then I had another one in, say, the 1700s, and then another one in the early 1900s, and then here I am today. So you think there is a linear progression, and really there isn't, because what you consider to be the past, or what you consider to be the future, is all going on concurrently. And so what you are choosing to do is take your soul's essence and harness it, focus it to a specific now moment. And by doing that, as you enter into 3D, you create a physical structure for yourself, all right? You create the body and you incarnate, if you will.
We have been talking about that in our next incarnation, we would like to meet again.
But you understand that reincarnation is an illusion, yes? It's real as an experience. You can have the experience that you're reincarnating, but everything exists all at once. All lives exist right now. So you may create the experience of going from this life to another life and quote-unquote meeting again, but those lives already exist. Those are different people already existing right now simultaneously with the people you are right now. Therefore, you're making connections to them energetically to download information, to download energy, to aid and assist you in this experience, just as they may be drawing upon your life experience and downloading information and energy to aid and assist them in their experience along that connective line you have made from the present, just as they have made it from their present. Whether you call that the future or not doesn't mean it doesn't exist right now. So you don't actually ever become them. The idea is that from the oversoul perspective, it might be more accurate or precise to say it that way, because the oversoul has all these extensions in incarnations simultaneously, and you can say, well, as the oversoul, I have this life, I have this life, I have that life, in whatever order you wish to linearly perceive it. But the oversoul also understands that all those lives exist all at once, and that your experience of having one life after another is just a perspective from within the linear space-time framework, but it's not an accurate description of what's actually mechanically happening. You only have one life to live. Existence does not come from. Existence only is.
How come there's just not nothing?
There is, but even nothing is something. Nothing is different from our perspective than non-existence. Is that what you're actually referring to when you say nothing?
No, I mean, it seems like way back when.
There is no way back when, except within existence. You may be confused because the idea is that time is subject to existence. Existence is not subject to time. Time is a concept within existence. Existence is not a concept within time.
It seems like there had to be some start to it all.
I know it seems like that to you. And within existence, there are starts and stops, yes, but not to existence itself.
How could it ever get created?
It didn't. It just is. Creation happens within existence. All the concepts you can possibly imagine about beginnings, creations, starts, and so forth are concepts within existence. There is no outside to existence.
Is it not possible to imagine with the human mind how
No.
the totality of existence?
No, because you cannot imagine non-existence. Try it.
I'm trying.
You can't.
I'm having a hard time.
You can't. It's not possible. Understand, again, pay attention to the definitions. Non-existence. There could be, by definition, no expression, no experience. Non-existence means no experience whatsoever. So you can't experience it, and especially then, of course, you can't express no experience. The only thing you can express the experience of is existence.
And that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I plan to release more content just like this one with more channelers, more messages from Bashar. He's one of my favorites. And also with near-death experiences, compilations. I plan to do more of those because I've seen tons of near-death experience videos, but compilations are my favorite because I like to go through them, near-death experiences, one at a time. But many other people may not have time to do that, or they don't. They're not as interested maybe. So I like doing the compilations because it puts it all together for people so you can get an idea that, sorry if you hear my cat, you can get an idea of what everyone is saying after having a near-death experience, what channelers are saying, how that's all coming together, mediumship, things like that. I've had my own personal experience, which I plan to talk about in the future, in a future episode, about a potential channeling experience that I had. I've also had my own personal experience with mediumship myself. So there was one particular instance where I actually felt like something was trying to talk through me. I was in a heightened state, and I was too scared. So I didn't actually let it happen. I freaked out, I panicked. And it was funny because I actually went to a medium who told me that she could see beings trying to talk through me, but I was too scared. But I drop episodes once a week, and I'll catch you guys on the other side.